I'm recording this a little bit later than usual to tell you about your assignments due 22nd July 2019, Monday. Again, we have a fairly extensive set of assignments for you to accomplish Monday. We're going to start with a quiz. The quiz covers Chapter 2 of our textbook about the aims and processes of writing. It's a short quiz, 10 minutes, multiple choice, open book, but there will only be one attempt allowed, so not two. So don't start the quiz until you are have reviewed Chapter 2 and the material that I presented to you about the writing process heuristic. And after you do the quiz, I would take it as early as you can so you can get it out of the way and off your plate. We are going to get ready to write our first college paper. This paper is going to be about how Frederick Douglass learned to read and write. This is a fairly typical college assignment. We're not going to write it on Monday. We're going to prepare to write it. And Tuesday is when we will write it. So we're going to do all of this pre-writing work to get ready so that it'll be an easy thing for you to write. It really will be. It's not going to be hard, but you have to really get to know Frederick Douglass. And I'm giving you a reading about how Frederick Douglass learned to read and write, and so you really have to get into that using the reading process heuristic. So there you go. That's what we're going to be doing. You're going to be reading about how Frederick Douglass learned to read and write. You're going to get to know who he was. Some of you already know who he was, but I think many of you don't. Fascinating gentleman. I'm not going to say any more about him. I will let the website and the materials I give you speak for themselves. Once you have got the background information about Frederick Douglass and you've read about how he learned to read and write, I want you to participate again in a discussion forum where there are 6 questions, and you will choose one of them to write about in the forum. And like we have done before, you're going to look through the forum and see how many, see which question has the fewest responses, and that's the question you're going to respond to. The whole aim of doing it this way is so that each question has about an equal number of responses. And all of this material, you're really working together as a class, all of this material you can look through when it comes time to write your paper about how Frederick Douglass learned to read and write. And I'm sure that, and you're helping each other, you'll be able to use the material to help you write this paper. So it's an important day. We are taking a quiz, and we are getting, we are doing pre-writing, essentially, for our paper about how Frederick Douglass learned to read and write. Now that said, you will have noticed that I've gave you a little extra credit activity. There are no deadlines on extra credit activities. This one is looking at 2 music videos that don't seem very similar, but I think you might find that if you think about it carefully, use your critical thinking abilities, you can come up with some reason or some ways that actually these 2 videos can be compared as being similar. I'll be throwing out extra credit activities every now and then. So you may want to take advantage of them. They're not that hard to do. As we progress through the course, you'll have an opportunity to write about whole films for extra credit, which is kind of fun to do too. Well, that's Monday. Do I have anything else I want to tell you? I'm kind of concerned in your writing, and we'll sort of work on this, about three things as I'm looking at your writing and evaluating it. I'm concerned about fragments, run-ons, and the vague use of the pronoun they. We're not really having that big an issue with fragments, but I do notice that in a lot of our writing, I notice that so many of us use run-ons, and so at some point I'm going to talk to you about them. But right now I'm just pointing them out. I'm pointing out run-ons in your writing when I see them. And then the mysterious use of they. I shouldn't say mysterious. Maybe it is mysterious. The vague use of they. Oftentimes we use they and I have no idea who you mean. So it's better to avoid pronouns altogether, really, even if you have to be repetitive with the proper noun, so that we know exactly who you mean when you're writing something. Okay, so that said, oh yeah, one other thing. A tutor has joined our class, kind of a tutor. He's helping me work through some of your writing and locate fragments and run-ons and other grammar issues as I want to point them out to you. So you will, as I return writing to you, and there are sections for comments, you will notice that there's another individual who is operating in this class besides me. We will see you online.